So we talked a little bit about lower of cost or net realizable value, and that's going to be used when I am using FIFO or average cost to take care of cost flows. If I'm using LIFO or another inventory valuation model called the retail inventory method, we use something different. I told you LIFO is not very common, but retail inventory method is very common. So let's at least explain retail inventory method, and then we can get into the valuation of inventory when you're dealing with the retail inventory method. So we're just gonna, this is just to come up with your initial value for ending inventory. So this is the retail inventory method. And then from here, we'll chat about lower of cost or market, otherwise known as replacement cost. So what the retail inventory method does is it basically says, okay, I buy inventory, I mark it up, and I sell it. And I got lots and lots of stuff. I can't specifically identify it. I mean, how many boxes of I don't know, whatever you want to call it, boxes of ibuprofen. I've got tons of that stuff, right? And I don't want to have to sit there and count them all up, and then how much did I pay for them? This is a really a nice quick shortcut method to come up with your ending inventory value. And this is how we do it. So we always start with our beginning inventory. And I'm going to keep two columns. One is the purchase cost, otherwise known as just the cost. And the other one is the retail price. And so I buy ibuprofen, I mark it up, and I sell to consumers at that retail price. So we'll start with a beginning inventory just for giggles. We'll say it was 100,000, and the retail prices on that 100,000, all those different units, I add up all what I would sell that for, came out to be 161,300. So what I make if I sold all of this inventory that I purchased here at retail, I would make $61,300. So that's the markup. That's my markup there, right? It is $61,300 my markup. During the year, I bought some stuff, right? So we're going to add in the purchases during the year. So we're going to add in purchases during the year. And I'm going to have my purchase cost here. Let's say it's $400,000. And the retail price of all of that worked out to be $610,000, right? So I know what I'm going to sell it for. I know what I had to buy it for. The combination of beginning inventory plus purchases gives me what we call goods available for sale. So I'm just going to put a little subtotal in here. Normally you don't have to do this, but in retail inventory you do. So I'm going to put in this little subtotal, and this is called goods available for sale. It's an important subtotal, and I'll explain to you why. So we're just going to add these up. So I got $500,000 of purchase cost, and I've got $771,300 of retail price. All I'm doing is I'm adding this and this. That's all we're doing. Nothing crazy, right? All very simple right now. What I'm going to look at is I'm going to say, okay, let's take a look at the cost to retail percentage, right? The cost to retail percentage. So I'm going to look at my 500,000 over my retail price, over my retail selling price, or 771,300. I'm going to figure out what that percentage is, right? So let's do that. Let me get my calculator here, which we always love to see, Charlie's calculator. And we're going to do that calculation. So here we go. 500 divided by 771,300. That gives me 64.8%. 64.8%. I'm just going to round here. You might, if this is a bigger number, you may go out even further. You may go a little bit further up. But we're just going to keep it simple. 64.8%. So let's put that in here. So we got 64.8% is my percentage. I'm just going to put it right here. This is an important number to keep your eye on. Okay? So, during the year, I had sales, retail sales. I had retail sales of, I'm just going to make up a number. I had retail sales of, I don't know, 720,000. Sold a lot of stuff, right? Sold a lot of stuff. So I had retail sales of 720,000. Keeping it simple, right? So my ending inventory, that's my retail sales. My ending inventory at retail prices ending inventory at retail is the 771 less the 720, or 51,000, or yeah, 51,300. 51,300. Last year I had a retail ending inventory, ending inventory, which becomes this year's beginning inventory. I had a retail ending inventory of 161. So I did a better job. I sold more of my stuff. That could also be bad, because that means in the beginning of the year I may not have enough. But let's just, for example. So now I've got to come up with, well, what is the cost? What's the cost of this stuff? And if you're probably guessing what the next step is. I hope you're guessing what the next step is. So now what we're going to do is we're going to estimate. We're going to get the estimated ending inventory at cost. How do you think we do that? Well, we're going to take this 51,300 times this cost to retail percentage, because we want to know what the cost is. So we take the retail cost, and do we take this cost divided by retail percentage, and that should give us our estimated inventory cost. So if we take, here's our 64.8, I'm going to get rid of that because I want to use the rounded number. So I'm going to take my 51.3 times my 64.8%, and that gives me an estimate of my ending inventory cost. So we're going to say $33,242. And I could theoretically round that up. I mean, it's an estimate. In fact, I think I will round it up. What the heck? 32,250. Okay. That is my ending inventory at cost. So now if I wanted to figure out what my cost of goods sold is, I'm going to take my difference of my $500,000 here versus the 32,250, and that's going to tell me what my cost of goods sold are. So it's going to be this 500,000 less the 32,250. $467,750. Right? So this is the retail inventory method, just to estimate what your ending inventory is and what your and be able to calculate your cost of goods sold. In the next video, or the video talking about valuation using the retail inventory method, we're going to talk about lower of cost or replacement value.